Oh yeah.
What is this? What is this? Oh no. Oh no, he's cute.
Do you like it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's cute.
He's alright. He's alright. So hello everyone.
Oh, hi. Hey, howdy.
Yeah?
Howdy there, son.
No. No.
What's wrong with it?
No, you can get back with that.
You can get back.
Yeah, you can go. I'll get Ash as my co-host for the episode. He'll voice Amicus.
Why don't you just let the people decide? Do you want me to do the rest of
Do you
Adastra?
want Darian here or Ash the cat?
Well, I was gonna say, do you the people, the audience, want me to do the rest of Amicus's readings in a deep accent?
No. No one wants that.
I don't know. Selkie said I do good accents.
Yeah, sure.
Not great, not amazing, but good. And I will take it.
Sure.
They're just so fun. Don't know what to tell you.
That they're not. I walk briskly through the hallway, trying to gather my thoughts. I just want to spend time with Amicus, go back to Earth, see my family, come back to Adastra. But no, those parents are meddling with my life, seemingly rendering every choice I make meaningless. If they can do all and see all, why are they messing with me and Amicus like this? I feel another hot flash of anger towards them as I turn a corner and run smack into something soft, furry, and white. What? Oh, what in the name of the gods? It takes me a moment to recognize the voice, probably because of how disoriented I am from running into him. Sorry, Cassius. I finally focus on the indignant wolf as he angrily smooths down his fur. Watch where you're going! You could have knocked me to the floor! You know what a catastrophe that could result in. Despite his outrage, I'm actually kind of happy to see Cassius back to his old self. Just 2 days ago, he was bedridden, though recovering. A combination of Virginia inducing him to vomit and a quick delivery of an antidote left Cassius in a position of fully recovered.
That's good.
Hello to you too, Cass. Cassius fixes me with a narrowed-eyed glare. Since when did I give you permission to use my shortened name, human? I shrug, simply adjusting my robe after having it disheveled from the collision. How are you feeling? Changing the subject, I see. Well, never mind. I'm feeling fine, thank you. I can at least eat solid food now without retching, though I doubt I'll be able to drink wine again without doing so. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure you are. I shake my head, wondering why the wolf has to be so sour all the time. Because it's fun. Maybe it's a side effect of always being second in line for everything. Yeah. I see something similar in Nephidu. They just go about handling it differently. Maybe it's also because of his illness, always seen as weak and needing help, and he reacts by being a dick. And then again, it could just be because he is a dick. So, what are your plans now that I've abdicated the throne and I'm leaving in disgrace? You're not leaving in disgrace. I think the people are going to be really... I'm already being made fun of for being one of the shortest serving emperors in the history of the empire. I'm the main topic in all of the comedies at the moment.
Good.
Cassius takes a deep breath, closing his eyes. Anyway, Marco, I wanted to thank you. I almost get whiplash from the sudden change in tone and topic. What? Oh, don't make me say it again. I'm simply thanking you for putting the Empire on a course that is somewhat tolerable, at least. As opposed to being ruled by Kato. Yes, while I might not believe that my brother is what is best for the Empire, at least he cares for it. And I suppose that's all I can hope for. Weren't you negotiating a position with Amicus? Cassius looks at me suspiciously, though I have no idea why. I suppose having almost being assassinated and also being so sabotaged by everything in the palace has made him a bit wary. I suppose I'll tell you anyway. So, yes, I'm looking to become the Chief of Social Affairs. He rolls his eyes at my lack of reaction. In other words, I'll be making sure that Amicus's most valuables are taken care of. That all will someday receive the financial, social, and especially medical care they needed. I perk up. Oh, good. That's kind of what you were all about when you with your campaign, right? Oh, I said Amicus and not Adastra, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Look, I caught it.
Yeah, you did.
A million years later.
It's good
8
on
years later. Yes, it will be nice to focus all my energy on that rather than bothersome politics that come with being emperor. I don't envy Amicus. He eyes me closely. I know you're very close to him, so please, if I must ask anything of you, it's to make sure that he does not forget those outside the triumvir cities. Their situation is desperate, but if we are truly going to reap fortune from an alliance, then they should be the first to benefit, not the Adastrian elites. It's one of those rare moments that Cassius is being completely genuine with me, and I nod earnestly. Of course. I also plan on making sure that Amicus remembers the Wolven children and right the wrongs of what the past rulers had done to them. There's a lull in the conversation, and I try to think of something to say to thank Cassius in return. And, thank you for understanding our position, for deciding to step down when we asked. You threatened me with outright humiliation if I did not. I try not to sigh of my own at the wolf's frustration. Hello, friend. Are you? Yes. No. Okay. Even in my attempt at some form of diplomacy with him was clumsy. Yeah, well, thanks anyway. Cassius grunts nonchalantly and then looks past me. Anyway, I must be going to the city. I have an appointment. That's when I remember Alex. I never did see Cassius' reaction to finding out about the cat's treachery. Cassius had been furious when I told him, and I'd particularly had to hold him back from marching out into the gardens and strangling the cat himself. He was especially furious when I told him that I'd made a deal with Alex to keep him from facing the consequences of sabotaging the entire empire. Amicus had settled on banishing Alexio from the palace to some high-security apartment in the center of Adastra City. Cassius has been visiting him there ever since. Okay, well, while I don't know what the state of their relationship is, I suppose even high treason isn't enough to stop Cassius from seeing the cat again. They must be pretty close, even closer than I'd initially thought. I'm curious, but stop myself from asking, as I know that would only lead to more glares and sneers from the wolf. So instead I bow and step aside, a bit surprised when Cassius bows in return, even if it's mostly just a half-hearted nod. I watch the white wolf disappear out through the main entrance, and I wait for a moment before taking the same route out into the gardens. While the conversation with Cassius had distracted me for a bit, my mind wanders back to what Amicus had just told me. I can't stop the feeling of concentration that seems to wrap around me, bound to the will of those supposedly all-knowing creatures. I sit for a while on a bench, contemplating everything, while my hand absently caressed my repaired jaw. Neck?
Neck.
Neck.
Close. It's a close part.
They're like
right there, huh?
They're like right there.
Yeah. But he got cut on the neck, not in the jaw.
Why not both?
Didn't take him the right hook. Give him give him a knockout. Give him a fat knockout. Knock his jaw. Knock his block off, you see.
Why?
Why what?
Why?
No.
Why all of that?
No.
Why you...
Do I ever have a explanation?
I need one.
Why?
For filing purposes.
Filing purposes. gotta put the receipts away. Put them in the shoe box.
Exactly. It's fine. I pressed. Look, I was about to start reading again. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'd pressed a bit harder against the skin a few times and didn't like the unfamiliar shapes and edges that I felt. I'd asked Amicus how the parents had done it, how they had the time to place the machineries in my neck, and also made me start breathing again. But it turned out it's one of those parental tech things that no one really understands. Gatto.
Parents just don't understand.
Man, she going.
She do.
It seems to have happened instantaneously, as if I'd been whisked away somewhere else to have sudden surgery before being placed back in the archives. Apparently, when Amicus's father had asked the parents to restore Kato's sight, it had just happened overnight. The old wolf surprising everyone when he walked into the dining room with his brand new visor. Very, very Gendo.
Oh yes.
That had been over a decade ago. And that gets me wondering why the parents did that if they knew Kato would go on to do the things he did. He blatantly got in the way of their plans. Why would they let him hold such a influential position in the Empire, let alone restore his vision?
You know, I'm starting to get the feeling that all this is like a pretty big commentary on Christianity.
Really?
Yeah.
But there's no pews. No pew-pews.
Do there need to be pews if it's Christian?
Yeah, that's why Star Wars is really Christian.
Oh my god.
Pew, pew.
Oh. You just love that joke.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I don't care. I'll make it good.
Okay.
If I say it forcefully enough, it'll become history.
You do that.
Yeah.
Consistency, very important.
Yeah, that's what Vanguard taught me.
Consistency.
Interference is to be kept to a minimum. I can practically hear the monitor say. I sigh, just sort of wishing that the parents didn't exist at all, that this other wasn't wasn't eating at the edges of our universe, which is apparently the root of all of this. That's something else that I don't understand. Or from what I gather, the Galaxia had already known about the other. Just vaguely. Amicus had almost described it to me when I first arrived here, and had been told that all his life originated from the same source, except for the other. A different type of life, so different from us that we can barely understand them. But now we know they're out to get us, or something. I just can't help but feel so distant from all of this, the result of the struggle between us and them being millennia away. We don't even know how many millennia. As I'm becoming more and more depressed over all of this, I hear footsteps on the path. I look up and I look up, half expecting to see Alex, even as I remember he's been banished from the palace. It's Nefidu, and he's strolling along the pathway, paws behind his back, as his usual sullen smile plastered on his muzzle. I'm assuming this is like your last interactions with the cast.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of cleanup, as it were. I have to wonder how he keeps that expression on at all times. Practice, as it's clear he doesn't see me until he comes a bit closer. When he does spot me, his ears flick up, and I get a glimpse of white teeth as his smile broadens. I smile back, even though I'm not in the best mood to chat at the moment. Still, I scoot over to make room on the bench, and Nefidu greets me with a bow along with an Ahotep, be with you, before he sits next to me, crossing one leg over the other.
Beautiful day.
He says it wistfully, and I just nod in agreement.
Though I can see you're not enjoying it as much as I am. Is everything alright, Marco?
I'm about to give a generic answer before I sigh, leaning back on the bench. No, not really, Nefidu.
I find that a bit surprising, considering the way things have gone the past few days.
I shrug. I mean, aside from almost dying, I guess everything here is good, but out there... I nod up at the sky, at space. I just don't I just don't know what to do.
Perhaps I could offer some advice?
I remember that Amicus had told me to keep the revelations about human society a secret, civilization a secret, at least until the parents give further instruction. I don't know. I think I'm just stressing about going home, about how I'm gonna do it, you know?
I definitely understand, for I am in a similar boat. Unfortunately, I have little advice on that particular matter.
I glance over at him, watching as he rhythmically bounces a black foot about, wiggling the toes and claws. Is Kemia still pissed about what happened?
Oh yes, furious. They're still threatening to cut all diplomatic relations with Adastra if Amicus doesn't make things right somehow.
Make things right?
Yes, despite the fact that my family very nearly despises me, they actually despise that our name has been sullied by woven disrespect.
How you were almost executed?
That, and also the fact that Kato released the footage of his attack on my person before the scheduled execution. It's been in heavy rotation on the news channels ever since.
Oh. I haven't watched much Adastra TV after seeing the reenactments of my own death, so I guess I've been missing Nefidu getting kicked in the balls over and over again. Okay. Wolves, they just like any sort of drama.
It's been spread across the entire Galaxia. I suppose seeing a Chemian in such a position is rather amusing to everyone, siblings and children alike.
I look over at Nefidu again, but this light, carefree demeanor continues as he simply seems to be soaking in the scenery. Are you doing all right? Nefidu looks at me then, and a smile becoming a bit more warm.
I am fine, Marco, but if I'm being truthful, I am embarrassed, but that's nothing new for me.
I frown. I can count the number of times I've seen you embarrassed on one hand, Nefidu. You're downright shameless. I smile to lighten the words, and Nefidu just chuckles.
You probably know by this point that I'm not often genuine. It comes with being a diplomat and the Pharaoh's son.
There's a lull in the conversation as we both just watch the gardens, listening to the birds and watching the bees hover from flower to flower. That's when I'm reminded of something. So, what made the Chemians want to start an alliance? Isn't it pretty groundbreaking for siblings to work together? Like, isn't that against the purpose of the Galaxia? I play dumb, like I don't already know it isn't. Nephew quirks an eyebrow at me.
That's a surprising question. Well, to put it simply, we studied the earliest histories of the Galaxia and came to the conclusion that it was never the intent of the parents for us to become competitors. If you don't know, the goal of a sibling race and its children is to achieve parental status. To do that, we must be able to achieve intergalactic travel. We're slowly realizing that this may not be possible without the cooperation of all sapient life in the galaxy.
I nod in understanding. So it seems like the Chemians were already hip to this grand plan, either by actually figuring it out themselves or with the help of their own parents. And this makes me wonder if they might know more about this, the thing lingering on the edges of the universe. Do you know about the other? Now Nephew turns on the bench to really look at me, furrowing his brows.
Another interesting question. Did you have some sort of experience with the parents when they healed your wounds?
Yeah, kind of. Just really vague stuff, so I'm just curious about it all. I try to make it sound like it's no big deal.
Well, it is an entity that spreads through the universe every few billion years. It originated from somewhere other than the original source of life, the source which we all came from.
His choice of words is confusing me. Is it, like, alive?
Is it alive like you and I? No, not really. It is more of a machine, I suppose, on the edge of life, but it needs sapient life to exist.
Oh, like a virus?
Yes, though even viruses originated from the original source. The other is truly something different.
And it feeds on life, or our life, I mean?
First, I should say that what we know about it is very, very limited, and the majority of that information is likely wrong. Really just ghost stories.
Well, what are these ghost stories? Nephew sighs, and I realize that he's not exactly interested in this topic.
How to put it? Well, it's thought that in the half dozen or so times that the other has spread through our part of the universe, it has left behind small, patchy portions of itself. It is technically all around us, but very weak, though it is thought that highly concentrated portions of it attach to tangible things or occasionally pass through us.
I feel a little tingle down my spine. And what does it do? Nephew shakes his head.
I'm sure your people have stories of phenomena that are unexplainable. Perhaps an abandoned building that is inhabited by malicious spirits. Possibly a creature that defies all logical explanation, yet sporadically appears in a particular forest.
Wait, like supernatural stuff? I give the jackal an incredulous look, and he shrugs and laughs.
So the stories say. They also say that the sapient consciousness is used by the other to project these manifestations, and that the sapient's reaction to these projections feeds the entity. Personally, I feel that the legends surrounding the other are simply a catch-all for anything that is feared or poorly misunderstood, or just the product of a bored society.
This is more interesting than like half the game.
Like, actually.
Why wasn't this the plot? I don't care about no romance. I want to be fighting the other. I think back to what little I know about ghosts, monsters, even aliens or UFOs, and immediately the idea is too ridiculous for me to accept. You fucking idiot. Okay. Why haven't I heard of this while I've been here? Because you've been locked up in a palace?
You probably have, but just didn't understand the topic at the time. Either way, it's never a serious worry on anyone's mind, considering how rarely the entity makes contact with our side of the universe.
I just stare at the ground, not really sure what to say. Like Nephew, I find myself not really interested in the topic, and our decision, let's move on, our discussion. We talk about Nephew's plans, when he might return home, and how I might help him secure the alliance. Eventually, he gets up to return to his room for a nap, leaving me to sit on the bench in silence. If I'm being honest, the conversation has left me feeling even less convinced of the intergalactic war the parents are apparently getting ready for. It sounds more like we're getting ready to fight off an army of space ghosts rather than anything else.
Could you imagine
space ghosts, coast to coast.
Could you imagine an army of that guy?
Oh my god.
Trillions of him just flying through the space.
No. I sit there for a long while, opening my mind a bit, kind of hoping that the monitor will swing by and dump a little more information on me that I can work with, even though I know that's not exactly in his nature. Things stay predictably quiet, and as I'm thinking about heading back to Amicus's room to see if he's returned, Com's voice makes me jump. Amicus would like to let you know that he is currently in the bath, and if you would like to, you can join him. However, he wants to make it explicitly clear that it is your choice, and that if you need more time... Thanks, Com. I'll head there now. Oh my god, this horny bitch. Yes, Marco.
Well, how do you know it's horny? Maybe he just wants to go hang out with them in the big old bath.
You know that's not true.
Man.
You know that's not true.
You underestimate him.
That's fine. I think we'll just end the part here.
Okay.
That sounds about right. That sounds good.
That was such an interesting conversation.
That was such a cool conversation.
That was really nice.
Fuck.
What a good way to wrap up with Nefudu.
But I want that plot though. I want to go do ghost busting adventures with Nefudu in a platonic way.
Oh, absolutely. Fuck yes.
That sounds fun.
That would be so good.
Right? Let's get Cassius too, it'll be funny. He can be the skeptic in the group.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Scooby Gang.
Ooh.
Who is everyone?
Okay, so...
Amicus would have to be Fred, right?
I don't know. We can drop Amicus.
Oh, I see. But then is there enough to fill out the Scooby Gang?
Yeah, okay. So you have Daphne as Virginia.
Of course, obviously.
Velma is Alex.
Yep. Correct.
And thus Fred would have to be
Nefudu. Okay.
And of course Cassius is Shaggy.
Marco is Scooby.
And Marco is Scooby.
Shit, we got it.
Yeah, we got there.
We
can entirely have the Adastra cast without Amicus. Amicus is basically Johnny Bravo at this point.
In that one absolutely stellar crossover.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely amazing.
It's good. It's good.
Fantastic.
We got there.
Oh,
the Scooby Gang.
We did. Johnny was basically the best addition to the Scooby Gang.
Oh my god. Or is Amicus Scrappy Doo?
Ooh, fuck. He is. Oh no. Though I think in attitude that might align more with Cassius, but I wouldn't put Cassius in that position. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Don't you want to see Cassius go everything is deja vu?
Everything is deja vu. Oh my god.
It's fine. We'll see you. We'll leave you with that, everyone. We'll see you around.